I'm Ashton from EventChain for Investment Pitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Richard Ells, the CEO of Electroneum. Richard, thank you so much for being on the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hi, Ashton. Thank you very much. I'm sitting here with a pretty poor internet connection. You can hear some noise in the background. We're in the Intercontinental Hotel in Malta for the blockchain conference out here. So not the best connection, I'm afraid, but it's a pleasure to be on the show.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for taking your time out of the conference to come on the show, and I'm really excited to hear a little bit about Electroneum. If you would kick it off for the viewers, I know that Electroneum is a mobile-based payment system utilizing blockchain, but could you give your thesis on why you started Electroneum and what are the solutions that you were looking to provide?
Yeah, sure. So I've got a couple of reasonable sized digital businesses, and I had a development team, and I was personally interested in crypto. Crypto was far too technical, still largely is. So we decided we wanted to make a smartphone-based cryptocurrency that was really, really easy to use. So we set off actually mining directly proof of work on smartphones, melted a number down, gave up with that, and thought actually as long as we've got some emission to the users of the app so that we can get some distribution, we can still make it work. So we had a slightly different system to most. We had proof of work emissions, spot reward for the miners, and we had another emission system that emitted for app users. So that's got us quite a lot of growth. We've got 3 million plus registered users. But we then wanted to make sure we've got instant payments because in the real world, you really need to have that sort of instant payment mechanism. So we have developed an instant payment system, so app to app and API to app. So we've got till integrations, for instance. So we built this entire platform of payments, virtually zero cost for remittance. And the entire thing was pretty much just built for mass adoption when we first made it. But then where we saw that our communities were growing were in areas that we mentioned in one small part of our original white paper. We said unbanked, could be good for the unbanked. Now, we have learned so much about this area now in the last 2 years of running it. I would suggest that we are the world leader in this without a shadow of a doubt. So our entire premise now is about financial inclusion and enabling small micro payments of remittance, effectively, of value from the global north to the global south. So if somebody in the United States or Canada wants to send $3, $4 to somebody who's just done some digital work in, say, Indonesia, they would be able to do so at a very, very tiny cost. So that's the sort of premise. We've done quite a lot more because we've been grafting for 2 years writing software. But in a nutshell, that's what Electroneum is for and what we're doing.
Great. Well, thank you, Richard. And I heard a lot about Electroneum growing really quickly and one of the fastest growing crypto projects. So congratulations to that. What would you say is the keys behind how you guys grew so quickly?
It's our emission system that rewards people. So just for downloading the Electroneum app, you can start getting a small reward. That reward is not universally the same. So if you're sitting in Canada right now and you install our app, you might earn 20, 30 cents in a month or something of value of ETN. But if you are in Uganda, then you're more likely to be earning somewhere closer to $3 worth. So we're distributing the ETN via our app to engage users and to bring users on. But it's also a bit like a free sample. So you get your free washing powder sample through the post and you think, I'll never use that brand. You shove it in the machine, whiter than white. So you then decide to change to this brand. So people don't trust cryptocurrency in the developing world. That's something that we learned when we had boots on the ground. So we thought, okay, let's make sure that we're giving them something that they can use. So we hooked up with some mobile operators, and there's a number of countries: Brazil, Tanzania, Uganda, Nigeria, Turkey, South Africa, and that list is growing. Where you can buy airtime and data directly through our app, directly in ETN. So you can earn a little bit, then you can buy some airtime, and once you've suddenly topped up your phone and you now have airtime in minutes that you didn't have a moment ago, suddenly a little light bulb goes ping, and you go, this is real. This is not a scam. This is not something that's taking from me. It's giving to me. So we're very much at that stage at the moment where we've been giving away and growing a network. But then again, we're boots on the ground. We've realised that pure entrepreneurial spirit, which is what we thought would make this thing take off. You've seen every crypto project that just thinks, let's build it and they will come. And what we've done is we've built it and they haven't come. And then a lot of people would say 3 million people is they've come, but I'm really about mass adoption, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people. So we said, okay, what is it that we need to unlock this next stage? And so we've got a piece of software coming out in 2 weeks that's all about allowing people to sell their services a bit like Fiverr or Freelancer. So sell digital services, and then the people in the global north can pay for those services with a credit card. Remittance takes place via a clever mechanism of ETN into their phone. Again, like I said, virtually no cost. We don't take any percentage. And then they end up with some value. So this enables someone to sell that couple of dollars or $3 service, haven't had to use the banks, and that value arrives with them. So we're giving people a new way to earn. It's never been done. Very exciting.
That's very exciting. And I saw that you guys recently went into, was it Africa, Brazil, and Turkey you've been focused on. Are you seeing people mainly transferring value to each other within the country, or are you actually seeing these remittances, as you're talking about, to the global north and actually international?
Well, first of all, just to say, the first country we launched with almost complete coverage, so 4 networks in Brazil. And we've seen massive growth in Brazil. We're getting tens of thousands of users every month coming on board. In fact, I think we had 12,000 users from Brazil last week. So we're getting huge growth in Brazil, and we've done $28,000 worth of equivalent ETN top up last month in Brazil. So the growth strategy is working to get people on board. We actually have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of merchants, but the next stage, this stage where countries can see this as a money inflow system, is going to be the big changer, I think. So as soon as that goes live, we've got a great community. So once again, always a massive thanks to our community. We put out an email and social to ask people to come on as beta testers for our Any Tasks freelancer platform, and we had 25,000 people come on and say, yeah, we want to be a beta tester. 7,500 of them took the time to fill in a massively detailed questionnaire that's given us a real insight into what people want and what people need. So we're just super excited is the thing I always seem to look back at myself saying.
Yeah, so it sounds like you guys are well on your way. I'm a little interested in the Electroneum coin itself. You mentioned that you had based it off of Monero, and it's a privacy coin, or there's stealth properties as well. What was the basis for that, and how does it help with the mobile payment system?
Okay, so originally, right at the very, very, very beginning, when we were messing around with blockchain, we went and I think there was a crypto note protocol that we said, okay, let's look into this. And we were using that particular protocol, which Monero was actually forked from themselves. So then we realized that what Monero had done was really clever. So those guys are some of the cleverest people. That development team are ridiculously good. It's probably the most complex blockchain that there is. So it's not the easiest thing to use, but it's easy to use for the users. That's not what I meant. It's not easy to develop. But what it did is it did 2 things that really excited me. One was the stealth addresses, which again I'll come back to in 2 seconds. And the other one was it had a dynamic block sizing, which at the time we were talking about mass adoption, and most blockchains have got static block sizes, so you could only get a fixed number of transactions in a block, which definitely gave you a huge limit. So I love the fact that it already developed dynamic block sizing, but we didn't want to be a privacy coin. We're KYC AML. We're all about embracing regulation. So we've stripped out nearly everything of their privacy. Mm-hmm. Except stealth addresses. Now, I'll explain why. And I've had this argument with the JFSA, who've banned privacy coins, and said, look, it's okay making this blanket ban for privacy coins. But what you have to remember is that in some places in the world, public information about how much value you have, how much money you have, how much wealth you have is a very dangerous thing to have, because they are dangerous countries. So we've got lots and lots of users in places where letting somebody else, if you walked into a shop with an open blockchain and you bought something, and that shopkeeper now has access to look at other things that you've purchased and indeed what your wallet contains, that would suddenly mean that the shopkeeper could say, oh, that guy's got $400 worth of something, and in some places, well, even if it's $50, in some places it's worth going around and pumping someone on the head and forcing them to hand that over, or do something even more hideous. So I did not want to have a public blockchain where we could actually endanger people. And I believe people have a right to privacy for some of their information. It's not fair that governments would say all blockchains must divulge their information, unless they're going to say that when I use my Visa card, all of my other transactions get shown to the shopkeeper, and my credit limit and my balance gets shown to the shopkeeper. If they're going to say that, then it's fair enough. But it's not fair to make one digital payment method completely and utterly open, and the existing incumbents have the right to privacy, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's right. And that's a major problem with Bitcoin and Ethereum, because a lot of people, you can use chain analysis to see, within dozens and dozens of transactions, if you're smart enough, into people's balances. So we'll see how that works out. And now you mentioned that although you guys are using a partial privacy coin, you also are KYC enabled, and you have that full protocol in place. Now, how does that benefit the end users, and why is it necessary?
Well, first of all, the KYC AML we were the first people that did it. I think we're the first crypto that said we're going to go KYC AML. I'm sure there are more out there now, but pretty much as soon as we launched, we knew that we would be under, at some point, the UK FCA scrutiny. And so we built the entire thing as a fintech, as much as an open source crypto. So we said, right, what is it that we need to do to satisfy British regulatory requirements? And the first thing was know your customer. So we've teamed up with Yoti, who've been quite good, but actually we've been building our own KYC system in the background. Had to do that because Yoti are not in every single country that we're in. And so we have teams of people that literally do the KYC. But the clever part of what we've done is we have the model. I don't know if you know much about the European Fifth Directive of AML. I'm guessing probably if you have a more interesting life than me, you probably don't. But we had to spend quite a lot of time on this. And effectively what we've got is we've got the lowest tier, which is up to about €50 a month in transactions. We have managed to keep as just being give your name. That's enough information because of the way we've written the system to look for duplicate accounts, and our money laundering system is or anti-money laundering system, it's not money laundering system. Our anti-money laundering system is pretty cool. So because of that, we've got the ability to allow somebody who doesn't have an address. Some of these people don't know what year they were born. The KYC system of the world is grossly unfair. And initially I sat down with my lawyers and they said, no, you're going to have to ask for a driving license and a passport. I said, "This just you are part of the problem, guys. I know they were trying to protect me, but I said, I'm happy to take a risk model on this. These guys are sitting there in their mud hut. They are not money launderers. They're just trying to get themselves out of poverty. So I said, I'm quite happy to take a risk model on this. And that's pretty much what we've done. So that lower tier you can get onto just by giving your name. Then the next tiers up, you start getting into needing national ID. And nearly all these countries have a national ID available, but more often than not, it has a cost associated. So we can give those people the ability to earn enough value to be able to draw value out of the global north to jump into the KYC system at a higher level. Then we've again achieved a goal. And if we only ever manage to allow people to earn another $50 a month, let me assure you that does something absolutely enormous as well.
That's incredible, Richard.
Oh, sorry. Funny little thing there. If you saw me look up, somebody just held a little piece of paper up above the video. One other thing, of course, is that the regulatory environment that we're working in is also good for us to do these deals. So you can't work with corporates and have partnerships with people unless they feel that you are within a regulatory environment. And so that's been really critical as well.
Definitely. Now, what are the goals moving forward for Electroneum? Are you guys looking for more strategic partners, more people to help build the networks, more team members or investors? What is it that you need specifically?
Okay, well, at the moment, what we've done is we've knuckled down for the last 2 years and just got on with writing software. Like I say, we learned so many things from being on the ground and actually working with small merchants and doing things. Yes is the answer to more to more partnerships. We need that, and I think from certainly we're only just launching this Any Tasks platform. Our blockchain now, by the way, is not proof of work. It's run by NGOs. We've created a whole new protocol called proof of responsibility. We've had it checked out by the chap who virtually invented blockchain, or was co-inventor of blockchain, is Dr. Scott Stornetta. He likes it, so you can Google him and what he said about it. It's been an interesting journey. So now we've got this thing where we've got NGOs that are promoting us on the ground. They're all vocational NGOs. So we have built this platform to enable them to sell their digital services, but we've also started a not-for-profit that goes live in Q1 of 2020, and that's called Task School. TaskSchool.com is being promoted by the NGOs, and they're helping us create e-learning, completely free to the end user, so that someone can come with no skill and learn very, very basic skills that can just be done with their smartphone. So this may be locational videos talking about people's companies, so promotional stuff that's just video based, but with a sort of CSR angle, corporate social responsibility type of angle. We've done some great work with people with sandboxes where they can draw out logos and company names and then use stop frame animation apps that are free to enable them to make social media content for SMEs, things that are literally so easy. But if an SME can buy a stop frame animation of their logo being made in a sandbox or or with leaves or with just stuff that everybody can get access to, then pay $3 for it, they will do it. We've already tested this. I have a ready-made market for this in one of my other businesses anyway, which is social media management company. So we're going to be buying from this thing ourselves. But there will also be loads and loads of other buyers, and we'll be marketing out to digital agencies to pass it on to their clients. So if you can get that first layer, we can get people to be able to earn enough value to be able to buy a laptop, then you unlock, absolutely everything in terms of digital learning. They can learn any new skill. So quite excited to take people on that journey.
Definitely, Richard. And if people are looking to get involved and help with Electroneum, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Yeah, if you've got opportunities anywhere, we're talking to utility companies, so it's mostly about the developing world. So we've had quite a lot of people talk to us about integrating with their Visa card in the north and things, and there are things that are ongoing with that, and certainly we're happy to do that for some of the higher level people that are involved in Electroneum. But ultimately on the ground, grassroots wise, if people have utility companies or access to people that they know that are in any developing region and they're in any position of power that could introduce us to people, then by all means do so. We would be so grateful for that. And frankly, I think that the thing that unlocks that is this movement of money into the country. So when we've been engaging with governments, we've often found that their fear of Bitcoin, and some of the governments that see Bitcoin, they're wary about it anyway, let's put it that way, or some of them have outright banned it. What they're worried about is capital outflow. And so when the freelancer platform is live, which is only a couple of weeks away from beta, or not even, I think beta is on the 18th. So when that task platform goes live and they can see, so not just me spouting on about it, but genuinely actually see it, that this is a way of driving money into the economy, then I think that unlocks some of those partnerships that are currently stalled, should we say. I think, we've put so many conversations in place that as soon as you get somebody who's been around for a little while and they have a brand, cryptocurrency is still in its infancy, and people are rightly worried about their brand. So tying their brand to cryptocurrency is quite a big decision for them. But when you're not just tying it to a cryptocurrency, you're tying it to a thing that is improving people's lives and very visibly improving people's lives, I think it's going to be much easier to get them over the line. Certainly, whenever I've talked about any task and what we're doing, the excitement level, even here, it's been really, really good. Actually, I've been really pleased when we've just been talking about building a smartphone-based payment ecosystem. People are interested, but the excitement has come from us talking about how we've now made the software to enable people to genuinely earn, and we're using our own system to remit the money for value.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the time, Richard. It's been a pleasure learning about Electroneum, and all the best at the Malta Summit and the best moving forward with Electroneum. And let's follow up in the near future.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for your time, Ashton. I'm sorry we had a few technical issues at the beginning. It's much appreciated that it's late where you are. So I hope you have a good sleep, and we will go off and spend the last day at the blockchain conference.